Cubans. And then when you think about the fact you have the Ortega brothers in Central America, and then this failed state just south of us, we are setting ourselves up for something more devastating than what 9/11 could ever be. Because we're not safe in this country, in our ports, in our airports, in our schools, in our malls. We're lying to ourselves. And the fact that we have an open border in this 21st century battlefield is absolutely reprehensible. And the fact that we are not able to clearly define who this enemy is that we're fighting is even more appalling. Because when you look at the national security strategy, it says nothing about Islamic extremism, nothing about jihadism, nothing about Muslim terrorism. All for the gods of political correctness. If we don't get serious in defining who this enemy is, if we don't tailor our military to get away from this occupation type of warfare, which drains your economic resources, we've got to be able to reach out and strike this enemy wherever he presents himself. And when was the last time you heard an American general say this is about fighting and this is about killing? See, that's what a great Confederate cavalry commander said, Nathan Bedford Forrest. He said, war is about fighting, and fighting is about killing. William Tecumseh Sherman said, war is hell. But for whatever reason, this country has not had the stomach to fight a total war against an adversary since World War II. And anytime you fight half-measure warfare, ladies and gentlemen, you will have residual effects. You have the DMZ in Korea. You lose in Vietnam. When I was a young captain in Desert Shield, Desert Storm, we laughed because we let 2 Republican Guard divisions get away, and we had to come back as majors and lieutenant colonels. We must be committed to protecting the American people, protecting our way of life. The third thing that's so important is individual responsibility and accountability. Because this government that we have in Washington, D.C. is all about creating more victims, making more people dependent upon government, creating and expanding the welfare state. And when you do that, that means government has to grow, which means there's less money that's in your pocket. Right now, we are living in a country where the public sector is outpacing the private sector. Where public sector compensation is outpacing private sector compensation 2-to-1. The entire objective of the liberal progressive legislative agenda is to get more people wedded to government either by subsistence check or by employment check. And when that happens, you'll look like California. And at a grander scale, you will look like Greece. But the whole purpose is that at the national level, if you have more people that are concerned about their government check, national level elections will never be the same again. And if you don't believe me, there was an interesting statistic that came out in March of this year. 47% of Americans are not paying federal income taxes. But yet, that same 47% votes. So back in 2008, when that young lady said, if I vote for him, I will not have to put gas in my car, I will not have to pay my mortgage. A lot of people don't realize the young lady that said that just south of you all here at the Bank Atlantic Center in Sunrise, Florida. This is what lives in and amongst us. This is what is the absolute antithesis, anathema to who we are in America. Because we are not empowering the individual, we're enslaving the individual. And once upon a time, the Democrat Party enslaved the body. Now they're enslaving the mind and the will. And that's even worse. Because all I have to do is go back to my neighborhood in the inner city of Atlanta, Georgia, and I can see the effects of failed liberal social welfare policies and programs. All you have to do is go look at what happened in Detroit. And they couldn't even put out fires in that city. That is what they are leading us to. The fourth thing is so important, is liberty. This country was established upon the individual's liberty. This country was established upon government setting the conditions for your success. Not coming down and trying to engineer outcomes and results, which is what you see happening right now. All you have to do is go back and look at Jimmy Carter, the Community Reinvestment Act, where all of a sudden we say everyone has a right to own a home. Now, what did that lead us to in 2008? When all of a sudden we lower standards. We tell people, you get out there and you get a home, knowing full well that they will not be able to afford these homes. We created Fannie and Freddie and backed them with the government money, and we see what happened with that. If government comes in and starts to engineer results. If government comes in and tries to level off the playing field, you know what I always tell young people when I talk to them? If you go into school and you make an A, someone else makes a D and an F. Why did you make that A? It's because of hard work. You have the freedom and the opportunity to get that A. Now those people that made the D and F, they can study a little harder. If they can't study harder, guess what? You got after-school programs, you got tutoring programs, you got all those type of things. Well, what happens when someone comes in and decides the people that are making the A, we're going to take a little bit from them. We're going to give it to the people making the D's and the F. When everyone comes to the center, we got a C student nation. That is where the United States of America is headed, to being a nation of mediocrity, which is exactly what happens. Anytime socialism, that socialist economic theory, is trying to establish itself in the world, it ends up destroying the very nation that they thought they were there to protect. When Democrats, when liberals talk to you about how we're here to take care of you and make everything better, that's a dishonest tyranny. Because all they want to do is enslave you. They want to take away that liberty that you have. They want to be the one that determines your future. If we're not careful, they're going to determine it from the time you're born to the time you die, and everything in between. The fifth principle of conservative ideology is our free market principles. You look around here in the village of Wellington. You look around in the United States of America in 234 years. I've been to 13 different countries and 3 different combat zones. I'm here to tell you, no one has done what we did in 234 years. And it's all because we believe in the creativity. We believe in innovation, investment, and ingenuity of the American entrepreneur. But if we crush that entrepreneur spirit, we're going to crush this country. I have never seen an administration so anti-business, so anti-private sector as we see right now in this administration with these people. And as I told you, if we find ourselves where our debt becomes greater than our GDP, which we're on the path to seeing in about 5 years, then we're done. When we owe more than we can produce, it's over. Businessmen, small businessmen, made this country what it is. Our corporations and businesses made this country what it is. But as long as you have 33 to 35% corporate business tax rate, guess what? I'm sure Pat will agree with me. The businesses are going to go offshore. And so you can come back around with this thing that we're going to punish you for doing that. Well, guess what? You drove them to doing that. It is all about understanding that interaction of government with small businesses. You know, I know that the president said he was going to have these small business cuts, but guess what? Most small business people operate on the personal income tax rate. And if we come back around in January 2011, we see those, every bracket is going to increase 4 to 5%. So they're lying to you. They say they're just going to target the top 1%. If that happens, you're just going to knuckle the number. I cannot tell you how many small businessmen I talk to and they say, we're just going to pay the fine when it comes to health care because we can't afford it. Which means you're going to drive more people to this government system, which means what? The government's going to need more money, which means more is going to be taken out of your pocket. What built this country, and what we must get back to is what I said, investment. No one is investing because each and every day you wake up, you don't know what's going to happen. There is so much unpredictability, there's so much uncertainty, and it's killing our economy. It's killing us, and it's making us stagnant. Part of your national power is your economic strength. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton said that today, and that's probably one of the few things I can agree with her on. The sixth thing, it's about leadership, ladies and gentlemen. The United States of America forgot what leadership looked like. So they elected American Idol in 2008. Leadership has 5 basic principles. It's courage, it's confidence, it's commitment, it's conviction, and it's character. As I always taught my young soldiers and my kids today, character is about doing what is right when no one is watching. And leadership has to be about merit and talent. Leadership cannot be about entitlement. And one of the problems that we have in the Republican Party is we're like the baseball manager that goes out with the lineup card. And we scratch it. Okay, who's next? Who's going to run for president? Who's next going to run for senator? We got to get away from leadership by entitlement. We have to start looking at developing the next generation. And that starts with you all sitting here. You should be looking at who's the next level at the local to go to state, that you can eventually get up to federal.